AEW's All Out. After last week's All In, AEW wants to bounce back. There's been a lot of stuff that's happened this week, especially CM Punk's departure from the company. It comes as a bummer, especially because I'm assuming some people actually purchased the pay-per-view before knowing CM Punk was leaving. So it's strange, but a lot of the wrestlers here felt like they had a point to prove. So right now, let's get into it. AEW All Out 2023. Okay, before the show, Hangman Adam Page won the over-budget charity battle royal. Looking at him here, man, he deserves a spot on the main show, but it is what it is. Hikaru Shida, Willow Nightingale, and Sky Blue beat Athena, Mercedes Martinez, and Diamante in a trios tag team match. The Acclaimed and Billy Gunn beat Jeff Jarrett, Satnam Singh, and Jay Lethal in a trios title match. Even Dennis Rodman got involved at one point, smashing a guitar. Alright, with that said, let's get into it. The first match in the show is for the ROH Tag Team Championships. Adam Cole and MJF teamed up to face the Dark Order, Alex Reynolds, and John Silver. This tag team is crazy. They even have a name now. Better Than You, Baby. Entertaining stuff. MJF finally found a true friend in Adam Cole and wasn't willing to jeopardize his friendship over his selfish ex. Decent match. The Dark Order were very dirty in their approach. MJF was taken out and had to be carried to the back while Adam Cole did all the fighting. But for his friend though, he ran all the way back to the ring later on and their momentum led to the victory. This match should have been on Dynamite. You know, a lot of the matches on here felt like they suited Dynamite, and it felt like AEW just wanted to fill up the card. This is one of those matches. Right after the match, Samoa Joe came out and shoved MJF off the ramp, and the AEW World Champion initiated a fight. I'm glad they're going with face MJF. It really works well. I feel like there's a lot of untapped potential there. I didn't really consider a match between these two because Samoa Joe is almost from like a different world compared to MJF. I just never thought about it. There was no thought in my mind about a match between these two, but the promos are going to be good though, so there's that. The next match was for the ROH World Television Championship. Samoa Joe faced Shane Taylor. Hard-hitting battle similar to Hobbs and Miro's match. Taylor got in a lot of offense which looked rough and devastating, and this is the thing, like, I thought it was a decent match. I thought it was one of the weakest matches in the show, but that isn't saying much because All Out was on another level. It was great pay-per-view. Samoa Joe had to be pushed to a point where he was locked in, and in those moments, he looked unstoppable, so Taylor tapped out to the Coquina Clutch. The next match is for the TNT Championship. Luchasaurus defended the title against Darby Allin. Christian Cage's heel turn has been amazing. He elevates anything he touches, and I know it seems impossible, but I always wondered, like, what if he was in the main event scene? It's not gonna happen though. This match was Darby at his best, in a situation where he has to take down a big guy. This man was being brutalized and destroyed. Sometimes he would destroy himself. Christian on the outside was getting into it with Nick Wayne, and all in all, it was enjoyable because, as I said, Darby Allin and a big guy, his matches with Miro, his matches with Samoa Joe, these are some of his very best matches in AEW because it's a style that never disappoints. Luchasaurus retained the title here, but man, Darby's always shows up with these big guys every time. He made Luchasaurus look so damn good. This is one of Luchasaurus' best singles matches in AEW, and it's mostly due to Darby Allin selling the way he carried himself in this match, so I thought it was good. The next match was between Miro and Powerhouse Hobbs. Miro's been back for a bit. I didn't think he would actually return at some points because of how murky things were. He wasn't showing up, and when he did, there wasn't a storyline. About this match, it feels like we don't see these big man battles a lot. It's probably over-exaggerated. Like, off the top of my mind, I haven't seen many big man battles in the last month. It would have hit a little harder a year ago because of the hype both men had, but it was a nice match nonetheless. Miro winning makes sense, but man, I wish we see 2021 version of him. He shook Powerhouse Hobbs' hand before getting attacked, leading to his wife Lana, CJ Perry, debuting in AEW. She's all elite and wanted clarity on his situation because Miro abandoned God and her. It's clearly going to build up to something. I had flashbacks to Miro being cucked for a moment, but I'm glad they didn't do it. The next match was for the TBS Championship. Chris Statlander defended the title against Ruby Soho. Solid match. The women's division always has a big mark on it, and these two did their jobs well. The women's division doesn't really have a problem when you're watching these type of matches. You think, oh, maybe things aren't so bad. The challenger relied a lot on Saraya on the outside. The action was pretty hard-hitting and aggressive, which was nice to see, but instead of a proper finish, the drama between the outcasts was what cost Ruby Soho. Toni Storm's losing her mind. It's very bizarre, but very entertaining stuff. It's creative, and the women's division desperately needs it. Statlander has lost a bit of her hype. We've seen that a lot recently with Wardlow and some others, so it's a bit unfortunate. It is what it is, though, and we'll see how things go, but I'm a little bit intrigued with the Toni Storm storyline because it's very different to what we had been accustomed to in the women's division. The next match was a strap match. Bryan Danielson faced absolute Ricky Starks. Throughout the ongoing turmoil between CM Punk and AEW, this real world champion storyline has been destroyed. It's almost a curse to place a belt on Punk at this point, as he was originally supposed to face Ricky Starks here. Ultimately, that didn't happen, and shockingly, Bryan Danielson returned to replace the Second City Saint. Great match. It had a high level of violence and intensity. The American Dragon really showed how incredible he is to go out there on short notice and put on a memorable match. Strap matches are kind of hard to do, but these men did more than a great job, especially Bryan. He shouldn't have had a performance like he did. 2 months away with a broken arm, he comes in like nothing happened. Ricky Starks showed a mean streak and a different side to him with the stiff shots to the busted open Bryan, but all it did was piss him off and basically unlock Bryan Danielson's final form. Ricky Steamboat was amazing for his age. He was a good commentator as well, and the ending with Starks passing out was well done. His eyes were about to pop out of his face. I was waiting for the tap out, but it didn't happen. Instead, he passed out. Superb match. I had it as the best match of the night, but as you guys know, things change. The next match was a tag team match. Katsuyori Shibata teamed up with Eddie Kingston to face the Blackpool Combat Club, Claudio Castagnoli, and Wheeler Yuta. Solid match. I personally don't like how every match needs to be long, as this was almost 17 minutes. It's always nice to see Shibata on AEW, but the result kind of caught me off guard. I thought Kingston would win here, but I guess AEW like him as the Philadelphia 76ers or Borussia Dortmund of wrestling. This man does not come in clutch at all. He always loses and is expected to be treated as some huge threat, which kind of works because he knows how to talk, so it helps him a lot. We all know sooner or later he's going to beat Claudio, but I'm not really interested in his stories as much as they push him, which is a bit unfortunate because I was a bit invested in Eddie Kingston earlier on. I can't say the same right now. The next match was between Kenny Omega and Konosuke Takeshita, the story of student turned rival. Omega's relationship with Don Callis goes beyond AEW. He betrayed him in favor of the new Kenny Omega, Konosuke Takeshita. Deep story. Match quality was very high. Omega always shows up when it matters most, and in a situation where he had to elevate Takeshita and turn him into a big star for AEW, it was no different. High energy, great counters, great pacing, and the fact that Konosuke Takeshita actually won clean, it really does so much for him to beat the best bout machine 2 matches in a row. The story is going to end with Kenny Omega winning. That's natural. That's the story here. He has to overcome Don Callis. But 2 wins in a row isn't a joke. It establishes Konosuke Takeshita, and I am sure, I'm almost certain of it, that they're going to push him even higher because Kenny Omega is no slouch. Like, yeah, they have others beat Bryan Danielson here and there clean, but the fact that they actually had him beat Kenny Omega twice and the second victory was super clean, it shows their plans for Konosuke Takeshita. So that was amazing. Great match, great result. Takeshita beat him 2 matches in a row. That's crazy. The next match was an 8-man tag team match. FTR and the Young Bucks faced Bullet Club Gold, Austin and Colton Gunn, Juice Robinson, and Switchblade Jay White. This match was funny. The fans were like, hey, Kenny Omega's cool, but the Young Bucks, they hated them. But did it get in the heads of Matt and Nick Jackson? No, they went on with business as usual, and it was a fun match. It really picked up as time went on and got more and more exciting. Best part was when FTR and the Bucks got on the same page and started going for splashes off the top rope. Bullet Club Gold winning makes sense because unlike the babyfaces, they don't have tension with each other, and plus, they need to find form as a fresh new faction. It's kind of weird how things are going. The fact that the Guns, these guys who everyone used to make fun of, including me a year ago, are now associated with this version of Bullet Club. It's just weird. And the main event. Freshly squeezed Orange Cassidy defended the AEW International Championship against Jon Moxley. It's strange to see how much Orange Cassidy has grown in the past year. His title reign was under the radar until a couple of months ago. For him to be put in this position, it shows how highly they think of him. Jon Moxley is the unofficial face of All Elite Wrestling. He's been there since their first show, carried the company on his back multiple times, and always comes in clutch. One of the most important matches for Orange Cassidy, and he succeeded. I really like this match. Mox was testing the champion. He wanted him to actually step up to the challenge. Blood as expected, mostly from Orange Cassidy though, and the challenger brought that unbridled violence. He forced the champion to step up in the face of adversity, and man, I was slowly believing Orange Cassidy would win. He was getting more and more aggressive with his offense, kicking out of everything Mox was throwing at him, and he was starting to get frustrated, but managed to shut him down to win the title and end the 9-month title reign. Amazing match. A lot of emotions from this one. I had Orange Cassidy winning here. It felt like the perfect moment. So Mox winning kind of caught me off guard. Not in a big way though. The story basically showed that as good as the champion was, he still couldn't step up to the very best. Some think it's strange that he didn't win, which I obviously get that because Jon Moxley doesn't need to be the international champion. I obviously get that because Jon Moxley doesn't need to be the international champion, but you got to look at it from the other side. Jon Moxley is international champion gives it a sense of legitimacy because, as I said, this guy is the unofficial face of AEW. Him holding that belt instantly elevates it. So that's nice, but I do wish Orange Cassidy won. That's one thing to mention. Match of the night for me, it was violent, it was fast-paced, it was intense, it was dramatic. It was all those things rolled up into one, and I was kind of confused at first. I was like, hey, why the hell are these two main eventing? But it made sense. It really did. Great match. Alright, that's AEW All Out. As you can see here, these guys and gals showed up. They had this hunger to make everyone forget about the recent backstage drama between Jack Perry and CM Punk, Tony Khan, all this stuff. They forgot about it. They went out there, wrestled their very best matches, put on their very best performances, and in turn, this was probably AEW's best in-ring show in a while. It was that damn good. Everybody showed up. They showed up, they put in the work, and there was a big sense of, hey, we have to deliver. They had this chip on their shoulder that they had to overcome, this motivation. It was crazy. It was a good event, and I didn't feel like watching it, like, I'm not gonna lie to you. I didn't feel like watching it, especially because All In was loaded, and this had some matches that belonged on Dynamite, but everyone really worked hard to put on a show here, and from top to bottom, match-wise, not story-wise, not excitement-wise, match-wise, it was better than All In. It just was. Match of the night is Orange Cassidy versus Jon Moxley. Omega, Takeshita, amazing. Bryan Danielson and Ricky Starks. Whew. Wild match. It was good. Alright, what do you guys think of AEW All Out? Please comment down below. And that's the first video. Make sure you hit the knee on the like button and perhaps the paradigm shift on the subscribe button. Peace. I'm out.